We thought we were going to get it done Wednesday, Thursday last week.
To do 2 more, conversations are progressing really well, so I'm okay.
There was a bit of a sticking point between us and Bristol Rovers, just on a detail within the loan agreement.
Top pro is a warrior, a winner.
Easy, wasn't it? Easy as that. Top man, welcome to the club, mate.
The process of signing a professional footballer. As football fans, one thing we all love is an incoming transfer.
Huge breaking news.
But how does this all come together behind the scenes? All we see is Fabrizio Romano tweet, "Here we go," and it's a done deal. But today I'm going to show you an exclusive of how a professional football club signs a player. Cambridge United have invited me down to document how it works. We are closing into the final days of the January window with only one player signed. Lyle Taylor on a free till the end of the season, already scoring on his debut. But with the club wanting more faces through the door, pressure is starting to rise for this to happen. Right guys, it's good news. I finally got the call up that 2 days before the end of the window that Cambridge United will be making a signing. Not gonna lie, I'm very excited. Just got back from Berlin, but straight to Cambridge for 8:30 in the morning. And I'm not gonna lie, I better get some sleep. It's an early call. We have made it to the Cambridge United training ground. The first step of this morning is the medical. Now, I'm interested about this because I don't know the process of it. From an outsider fan point of view, I always see it as like a 5K run and all that you got to do, but could you just explain the process of how it works? Before we get the answer, the player signing today is James Gibbons, a right back from Bristol Rovers, signing on loan till the end of the season.
So from our side of things as a medical, we've got a few things to go through. So we start off with a clinical assessment. So we get them on the bed, having a look at range of motion, having a look at some strength testing joints generally from lower back, hips, knees, ankles.
Awesome.
We'd then jump into the gym to do some strength testing. Again, any areas of weakness or previous injury, that's what we tend to focus a little bit more on. And then some performance data, so some jumps, etc. as well. Some clubs have their own different protocols, but what works for us,
of course, works for you.
kind of the timing wise, we've got to fit in as well. It's quite a quick turnaround, so we kind of need to measure that a little bit.
How's today gone then?
Yeah, really smoothly actually. Yeah, we've done a couple, obviously from last season. So we're kind of into the swing of things now.
As James was early in having his medical, the players arrived an hour later, where he met the squad and manager as well as having breakfast.
Got the job done.
James has met all the players, currently speaking to the manager. Everything's going on. Really early start to the day, but nevertheless, lots going on, and we'll see what happens next. Between breakfast and the next stage of his process, with a new dartboard in place, it would be rude not to have a throw.
I don't know why every single time your toes literally always a little bit in front.
And then Lanks pulls out a triple 20.
There you go. Yeah, so literally, mate, do you want to sign to your? You got the email, Gmail account. Yeah. Perfect. And do your thing. Beautiful stuff. Top man. Just okay. Got your medical form, most important one. So that's going to send off straight away now. So it takes you with time here. So that's done. Your medical. Then we've also got on that, for example, the bonus schedule, which you'll see, and then finally just the actual loan completion form. It basically means it's all been okay. It's fine. So all you've done there, you've got it on your phone, mate. But I'll send you the docs as well, so you've got that. No problem. All we're doing is just a few bits of Bristol Rovers, which I'll sort out. But I'm going to send your medical form away now. The most important bits, and then that's it. There's one form later on, probably to fill in, which I'm still waiting for, is the loan agreement action. But the main things we need from you there.
Fine. All good. Sorted.
Easy, wasn't it?
Easy as that.
Top man, welcome to the club, mate.
With the contract signed being a done deal, it was time to personally meet the player. James, welcome to Cambridge United. How are you feeling?
Excited.
Yeah.
Really excited. Glad to finally get it done. I think it's been in the pipeline for a couple of weeks now, so good to get it done now and get a good week with the lads ready for Saturday.
And when did you first hear about this interest of Cambridge United?
During the window, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was. Obviously, I was keen to get out and get some minutes for me into a good squad. Lovely place to live as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've spoke to the gaffer. I know a lot about the gaffer through one of the lads I've played with, so it was a no-brainer in the end.
Obviously, this video is about the process of how a transfer works. So how has the process been for you? Has it been stressful? Just run us through how the emotions have been.
Quite straightforward. You know, when you hear of interest, you sort of you want to get it done if it's a club you like. So for me, it was pretty straightforward. The two clubs were brilliant with me and helping get it done over the line.
Between 10 and 10:15, the media only had a 15-minute window to shoot the interview and gather all the photos for the socials. All the media is currently being done right now. I think there's more shoots, more photos and everything like that. Contractually, all signed, all looking good. Media completed and they are straight on the job editing all the content. Dan, head of media here at Cambridge United. On a transfer day like today, what's the whole process for you guys?
The media team usually find out about a deal like this maybe the night before, the day before, just so we can do our research so that we sort of can be prepared for what the day looks ahead. During this time of year, often the player will come in the morning like he has done today, and he'll be out there training. So there's a bit of time pressure for us to get everything that we need in the sort of 30 minutes, hour or so, where he might be available in the morning once he's done his medical and everything else before he joins up with the rest of the lads.
Do you have to keep in contact with Bristol Rovers for today and timings of actually getting the media out for this announcement?
Because he's not a free agent and because there's another club involved, I'll be contacting Bristol Rovers shortly. I'll be sending them an email saying, hi guys, I understand that James is joining us on loan. Are you happy for us to put out an announcement at this time, or we'll come to a mutual agreement about when that's done, but we can only do that as well once all the paperwork's been submitted.
Considering it's 11 AM now, how's it all looking?
Yeah, it's all looking good. I mean, just editing the videos at the minute, going through the photos. James is out there training, so we're hoping that certainly by the afternoon we'd be in a good position to be able to announce it, and supporters can get some good news.
So the players have gone out to training, you've got the media prepping all the stuff for going online, then they've also got to contact Bristol Rovers as well for a time for it to all be published with all the contracts being signed and everything. It's honestly such a complicated process. Since being here at 9 AM, it's 10:30 now, everything's like this, it's going to 1,000 miles per hour.
I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up.
Just approaching 12 PM now, I've been watching this training and the intensity, when you're here in person, you actually notice how fast the players, the attack, the quick passing, the quick movements, direction, speed, absolutely everything. I'm mesmerised, to be honest. Ben, thank you for joining me. I really want to find out how the process of a transfer happens. And number one, finding a player. What's the process behind it?
Yeah, so first and foremost is identifying areas in the squad that we need and that we'd like to add. On the back of that, conversations with Neil and myself and then the recruitment team to really assess what it is we want from that position in particular. The non-negotiables really for Neil from certain positions within that makeup. And then really trying to go through with the recruitment team on availability of players, scouting reports we've done previously, some data work on that as well to get comparisons against it and see who would be the best fit for us. We also really like to prioritise character references that we get as well, see who fits into the group well and who wouldn't really. So
how do you submit a bid or how do you submit a loan? Any details regarding that?
Yeah, so there's some really important parties to each negotiation, I guess, both clubs, but then also the player and agent. Agent do tend to help you drive some bits in terms of, like I say, assessing availability for players, who might be available and sort of financial parameters. So that's quite helpful to get a bit of a picture for it, and then we collate that data, collate that information and make sure that we've got updated lists of target lists and availability for people. So once we've got that in, it may be that the agent goes to the club first, it may be that we go to the club first. That can be sometimes dependent on relationships that we have with those two different parties. And then it's about trying to get a deal done, which can take very little time sometimes, or can be a protracted one and take much longer than everyone hoped for originally. But I think sometimes you're a little bit dependent on the rest of the market, how fluid that is at the times. This window hasn't been particularly fluid, so things have been held up a little bit, people waiting on people before they can then let out. So you are waiting really in a set of dominoes really for your one to fall in that line really.
So with a bid going in, is it via email or is it via a message through the agent, or is there a system online, obviously, to kind of get into detail on that one, but is there a system in that regards?
Yeah, I think once we've got a feel for, on the back of verbal conversations and communications, then we'd send an official offer across by email. That would just set out all the terms, if it was a loan, if it was a permanent agreement, what either the wages are or a financial recovery towards players' wages would be on a loan, as well as the other standardised thing of team bonuses, if there's any accommodation to take into account. So there's a lot to get done and a lot to consider in each transaction really, I guess, and everything needs to fall into line.
Okay. How stressful has this January window been for you then?
It's been frustrating really, because I think it has been a slow moving market. we've obviously done one so far, Lyle, before today, and then James coming in now as well. So that's 2. Our plan always really was to add 4.
Okay.
And we'd have liked to get done as soon as possible, really, as early as possible to integrate the players into the group. But at the same time, we have to understand and realise and prioritise at all times that it's the right players for us and it's the right value for us as well. So if it means taking a little bit longer, we are ready to do that when necessary. But it has been, I would say, across the league quite slow, and probably a consequence of higher up than us, not particularly flexible there, and there not being much money going around in the top leagues, because you know what it's like when teams at the top end are working and financially investing into the lower leagues, then that money trickles down. There's been less of that, so there's been less teams willing to do business, and there hasn't been loads of permanent business. A lot of it has been loans, other than teams who are either scrapping for their lives to get out of a situation or potentially get into the next league up. That's pretty much in January where you find the teams really chasing it. Like I say, we would always prioritise value within that window and just saying, okay, is it the right deal for us still next week and the week after, rather than is it the desperation of getting a deal done today. We know after the window closes on Thursday, we've still got 19 games to go, and we've got to make sure that we've got players who can contribute for the 19
Absolutely.
games.
And with James coming in today, how stressful was the process of him coming in?
That was a good example, really, of it being quite fluid and ever-changing, really. We thought we were going to get it done Wednesday, Thursday last week. We'd prioritised it and were hoping that we'd have him in the squad for Saturday. There was a bit of a sticking point between us and Bristol Rovers, just on a detail within the loan agreement that neither of us really wanted to deviate from. And then I had a call from the agent on Sunday evening saying, I think it's ready to go if you're still there. So we got moving quickly yesterday morning. I spoke to their CEO early yesterday morning, got the formalities of the paperwork sorted out. He came to Cambridge last night, stayed in a hotel. He's had to travel from Bristol yesterday to get all that sorted, and he'll go back to Stoke, I think later today, to get some bits as well. So, you know, he's got to travel around and basically move his life here for the next three months, really. But that's the nature of being a professional footballer, and particularly in a window towards the end of a window, you have to be ready to move quickly.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, thank you for your time and all the information. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh.
Because Gibbons hasn't actually been in full training at Bristol Rovers the last few days, he's actually in light training today in a few sessions, crossing the ball and finishing drills, but other than that, he's back in the gym right now. With training complete, I then had the time with Neil Harris to talk about the transfer window and James Gibbons signing for the club. Right, Neil, there's been a new signing. How are you feeling?
Yeah, really pleased. So, January window, always really difficult. It's absolute carnage. You'd love to have been a fly on the wall for the whole month in here and seen how excited we would get when we get close to signing, and then how low you get when that deal falls through at the 11th hour, which happened to us last week. And that was a real kick in the proverbials, really, because I sort of, in the press conference, alluded to we'd have a new player in the building by Friday, and then it didn't happen. So that's
football, isn't it?
It is football, but with James coming in, I'm really pleased. He's a really good character. He's a real good leader. He's a good man. He's a top pro. He's a warrior, a winner, and he adds competition to the right-back position where we've been light all season.
Just leading on from that, the process for a manager as well in this situation must be very stressful. So for you this month, obviously, 2-3 days until the end now, how are you feeling about it all? Is it all come together? Or?
Yeah, I'm really pleased with the group we got.
Yeah.
So I'm quite relaxed, but I also understand that, you know, just transfer windows, you need change.
Yeah.
You know, you need to add impetus. Since I took over, we've lost a couple of players for injury. Well, actually quite a few players for injury, unfortunately, but you know, a couple of key personnel at times. So when we've lost Gassan and Elias in the same game, then for 3 games we've got no centre forward in the building. I'm relaxed with the window now because we said we wanted to do 4. We've done James Gibbons, who's a really solid, good signing, and Lyle Taylor, who's been very good.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah, his first appearances. So, you know, we're really pleased to do 2 more. Conversations are progressing really well, so I'm okay. I'm okay with it. 2 would be outstanding, but one we must do. But we really want to do 2.
It wasn't the 2 he wanted, but signing another striker on deadline day and Macaulay Bonne is one Neil will definitely be happy with. Your job in the window as well. Do you go out and try and find the players you ideally potentially want, or conversations with players, agents, etc.? Is there any ingoing stuff in that sense you've got to be involved in?
Yeah, I do, just because of my experience in the game.
Yeah.
I think younger first-time managers maybe not so much because they're building relationships. And the big thing for me is references. You know, when we're talking about players, when we get down to a short list of 3 or 4, then it becomes about getting the references. and that tends to go more my way to do that with managers that the players played for, or coaches they work with, sports scientists, physios, etc. Or players in the change room they shared with was a really good one. It's not so much getting out to watch players, because most players are playing when we play.
Yeah, of course, it's difficult. Yeah.
So it's more video analysis, so you see the laptops.
Yeah, of course.
It's more on that than like I said, the references, or for me also agents, because, you know, I'm content with speaking to the agents.
Yeah. Well, Neil, thank you very much for the information.
Pleasure.
All the best for the rest of the season.
Okay, so it's 1 PM here at the Cambridge United training ground. We've completed everything, had the interviews of everyone, and I think the transfer is actually being announced in a few hours, but we've got to go from the training ground to the Abbey for the media to actually announce it and get everything together. So let's transport there. So we've made it to the Kildare Abbey Stadium. We're going into the office now, and then the media team are going to be announcing the signing. And that's exactly what they did, as they scheduled the tweets and created the article, which now means the whole process is completed. And that is the process of signing a professional footballer. Thank you so much, Cambridge United, for allowing me down at the training ground and seeing all behind the scenes about how it works. Really interesting, because it's not like FIFA where you put in a little loan, put a little bid in, and then you can send it off. It's really formal, it's very professional. Of course, that just sums up the whole day, doesn't it? It was absolutely class, even seeing the training as well. Welcome James Gibbons to the club, and I'll see you guys later.